Being a leader is easy. You just go and tell your team what to do and then they go and do it. That's your experience, right? Changing behaviours isn't so easy. And here's why.
Just lead.
We are forever in an adapting and changing world. And with that change, we need to bring change into the workplace. Change is often seen as a negative thing, particularly when you have a long established team with set beliefs and values. Understanding what some of the triggers to changing behaviours are should help you effectively pull the levers you need to in order to enact the change that you require. There are plenty of models that explain the psychology of whether a change is effective or not. There is social cognitive theory, which suggests you've got some utility on your ability to change your behaviour, but that is affected by what you expect the outcomes to be and the world around you. There is the theory of planned behaviour, which suggests that the intention for someone to display a certain behaviour is the driving influence in the behaviour that they do indeed display. Their perceived ability to control that behaviour, what they think of that behaviour, and then what they think others think of that behaviour are all driving influences as to whether that person has an intention towards that behaviour. While they don't sound like it, these are both simplistic models and don't provide the necessary levers for you to pull as a leader to introduce change into your team. If you've been getting anything at all out of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, press the like button, leave a comment down below. If you're out there and looking for advice and coaching and help, I am available, and you can click on the Patreon link down below to get access to all my membership packs there, in which I can provide feedback and coaching one-on-one for you and you specifically. Temporal Self-Regulation Theory is the model, in my opinion, that provides the necessary intricacies on human behaviour to provide the tools for a leader to enact change at a foundational and lasting level. The model exists in two spheres. The motivational sphere leads to an effort to change. The temporal sphere leads to that change being lasting. The motivational sphere takes in belief and time evaluations to then form an intention to change. How much does the person believe that the change is going to have a positive impact on their life? And then how long is it going to take for that positive impact to come along? If these things align, it then will form an intention to change. Let's use a change example that my last workplace really struggled with. They brought in a policy that you needed to wear gloves with any physical hands involved activities. Did our employees have any intention to make a change? Well, let's have a look at it from a physical safety aspect. If something bad were to happen, I'm sure most of our employees would have looked at wearing gloves as being some benefit to them in most circumstances. How long will it be before they see any of this benefit? Many of our older employees have a wealth of experience where they haven't injured their hands, certainly not badly enough to elicit a change or an intention to change. It will be a long, long time before they receive any of that perceived benefit from wearing gloves. It's at this point that the intention to change falls over. The time evaluation of the change of wearing gloves by the employees suggests that the benefits that they will receive is too far in the future for them to have any intention of changing their behaviour today. In this particular example, it's that time evaluation lever that you need to pull as a leader in order to enact that intention to change. One way that you might do that is to bring examples to the workplace of experienced people injuring their hands in a way that would have been avoided if they were wearing gloves. Make it real to some of those older employees of yours that safety impact is real and it's relevant and it's sooner around the corner than they think it might be. Once you have established the intention to change with your team, then you need to start looking at the temporal sphere to make sure that that change is long lasting. Feeding into the temporal sphere is behaviour tendencies and the ability to self-regulate. This is where it's important as the leader of a team to understand your team in a little bit more depth. Your behaviour tendencies are your habits. How habitual are your employees? In the gloves example, how long have your older employees been not using gloves for their jobs and being able to get away with it, not injuring their hands? Are their behaviours so habitual that they even have gloves on them? And if they have their gloves on them, are they even thinking about wearing gloves in the process of getting a job done? In the gloves example, The behavioural tendencies lever that you pull as a leader is ensuring that, one, that they've got gloves on them, that they're readily available and part of their toolkit. And then the next part is when they're out at the job force, have they got some trigger to ensure that they're thinking about their hands before they go into doing their task? Then there is the ability to self-regulate. How much self-control do your employees have? Are they likely to fall back into old habits, or have they got the sort of control that will ensure that new processes are put into place and then stuck to? Think about it this way. Are they the sort of person that will give up smoking first try? Or are they the sort of person that will give up smoking eventually after a few short stints of quitting in the first instance? In the gloves example, are they the sort of employee whose behaviour will drift over time back to what it was? As a leader, the lever you have to pull here is the one-on-one time that you spend with your employees. Have that ongoing conversation about that changed behaviour and use your ability as a leader to influence them and keep them on track. Changing behaviours as a manager or leader should not be the act of banging your head against the wall. It hurts too much that way. You need to understand how behaviours work and then what makes them long-lasting, and then pulling those levers to ensure you enact change effectively with your team. Being consistent in your own behaviours will help you establish change with your team. Click here to understand why and how being consistent is so important.